scenario. This is the time that he would use a person's situation, an environment, or a relationship to show cause and effect. Like, this is what these people did, and this is the onset or the end result. So I'm going to give a parable of spirit versus the flesh. The Lord put this on me. I'm feeding my spirit, not my flesh. But let's just say, remember, you're of your father, the devil, the lust of your flesh you will fulfill. So let's just say, and you're conforming to the ways of the world. Be not conformed to the world. So your world, this is how a worldly mind doesn't understand a spiritual mind. Because a worldly mind, to the Lord, was considered corruptible. That's why he says from corruptible to incorruptible. So let's just say a parable or an example of this would be, let's say my lawnmower quit on me. And, my motives are pure. I'm sincere. I know that I see my neighbor, love your neighbor as yourself, mowing his lawn once in a while. It's the opposite sex, of course. Let's just say, hey, my lawnmower's not running appropriately until I have an opportunity to go take it in or get it fixed or whatever. Would you mind helping me with my lawn, or can I pay you, or, so my intentions are to get my spiritually, I'm not feeding my flesh, my spirit, but my intentions are to get my lawn mowed or get assistance in my time of need. So here's this carnal, corruptible minded person thinking, oh my God, she wants me to mow her lawn. Maybe she likes me. Maybe, their corrupted mind is creating a whole ideology that doesn't even exist, signing you up or throwing a Jezebel spirit on you, because now you're having to address scenarios. They're not even in place. They've created them. This is what he talks about. Your ways aren't my ways, your thoughts aren't my thoughts. This is the corruptible mind and I'm thinking to myself, so here, now there's a different behavioral being addressed. I have to modify everything I'm doing now. Now there's dissonance between me and my neighbor because I can tell the atmosphere or the behaviors have changed just because I was in innocency asking for his assistance in my time of need. But he took it to a whole nother level of carnality or flesh, lust. And I'm like, and so now I'm in a battle that I don't want to fight. That's what spirit versus the flesh mean. I'm feeding my spirit. That fleshly desire wasn't even in my mind. Those thoughts never crossed me. That's why I said I could be kind to the opposite sex and not think nothing. My motives are pure. I don't have uncontrollable lust, and I'm not conformed to the world. But this is where, when you're sometimes being nice to others, may it be the opposite sex, they will present themselves to you in a different fashion. And then you're like, wow, at best it makes you feel disrespected, like, wow, I'm just trying to be nice or a good person, or how could they throw that on me like that, or disrespect, like, undervalue me as a person. So that's where the Lord put this on me. Like, now he's like, explain a scenario to make it simply understood, because I'm not dating, I'm not lusting, I'm not in my flesh. And I'm not conforming to the ways of the world. What everybody's doing, I am not. This is why they don't understand me. Because when I say that I stopped dating a long time ago, worldly people are like, you don't date, you don't think about it, you don't know. I don't. No, the Lord told me, be ye holy, for I am holy. So that's not something I'll talk to anybody. I'll pray for anybody. I could present myself to an opposite sex person. Back in the old days, there wasn't even this corrupted. That's why it says the wicked will do more wickedly and wax worse and worse. Back in the old days, these corruptible minds didn't exist. There was a person in a neighborhood, one man to a whole community that had a car, and he would take all the ladies on his day off to the grocery store, to the doctors, to wherever it deemed necessary. And there wasn't envy, there wasn't jealousy, no one thought of it. I mean, because people were friends, like husbands and wives were friends with other husbands and wives, and there wasn't that jealousy spirit that's operative now in today's world. You didn't face that dilemma as much as you do now. So this is where our behaviorals, many are falling away to behaviors that need to be modified. And then we put our children at the same risk, because children become what's poured into them. Look what the children see today. Look what they're seeing today. For one, they don't have no family structure. They're seeing broken homes and children having children everywhere. So they don't aren't given the groundwork or the tools necessary to have a disciplined, structured, workable life and to go find someone meritable and have a longevity of relationship. They're not given those skills in today's society. That worries me. People say they love their children, and I'm like, well, are you partaking in their better future? What are you doing? I mean, are you making their environment safe or structured or disciplined? Because, like the Lord chastised his children and disciplined them, we are too. We're not supposed to friend our children. We're supposed to parent our children. And you don't see that nowadays. And in all reality, most children want a parent or they want discipline. Whether they go fight against it on a day that they don't have it, but in all reality, it's a requirement and it's something they truly want, because when children are disciplined in a good form, it's love. Just like your loving creator, your father, reprimand his children. And that's what an intricate design we are, where if we fall out of his design, we go into confusion, chaos, darkness, conflict. These things arise. That's why it says the Holy Spirit will warn you. That's that voice of reasoning that's given to all of us, he who is in you, saying, this don't feel right. Or, this is bringing despair into my life. This is bringing grief into my life. In the world, there's trials and tribulations. We all have them, but some of them are created by our own hands. We create our sufferings. This is why I talk about familial lineage, bondage and curses, because you could sometimes. There was a person that I did deliverance on once, and they said, my family's cursed. And I'm like, wait a minute. Don't say that. You're not cursed. You're blessed. Don't speak that over yourself, because the reason I believe they believed this was because it was in so much bondage and captivity through sin, defiancy, and rebellion. So they chalked it up as, we're cursed, and they've settled into that and they've accepted it. I'm like, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't agree. Don't come. It's what you come into agreement with. It's all about your thoughts, the mind of Christ, and saying I can overcome anything presented in my life if I'm strong enough or I have faith in it. Some people, that's why I said some people will agree with their darkness, and they sit there and they accept it and say this is just a part of life. And I've said many times before, part of life is not dying. And at will, by your own hands. And sometimes we've come into agreement with things we don't even know what we're agreeing with, because children have seen this in their familiar lineage and they've accepted it. Like, this is what everybody goes through. I get this from a lot of people that are in cursed lifestyles. They say, this is, a lot of people go through this. That might be true, but it's not good. It's not God's will for your life. Do you think God said, here, I created you, I give you life, I give you air to breathe, I make you a design, your lungs pump air and blood, and your kidneys, a self-cleaning mechanism. He said, here, I give you all this miraculous creation, now go destroy it? Don't appreciate what I've given you? Don't appreciate the air that you breathe? Do you think he said, oh, here, go smoke cigarettes and destroy your lungs, go drink alcohol and kill your liver? And then on all those dark effects of sin, have a cause and effect in your lifestyle, in your unpardonable and manageable life that it leads to. Your broken marriages, broken homes, broken children, domestic violence. That's spiritual oppression. That's suffering, not long suffering. Long suffering is going through the trials of life and interceding for yourself and correcting and reprimanding yourself. Examine and judge yourself. I tell people this all the time. We're all here in this world, and we know things that destroy lives. By now, we all have seen despair and destruction to know what not to do. Doing the same things and expecting a different result is insanity. That's why I said, that's almost like co-signing your own death certificate. Wait, I know they smoked and died from cancer. I'm going to keep smoking, and I'll meet you in the graveyard in about 5 years. Wouldn't that be like co-signing your own death certificate? Here, I'll be right behind you. That's not what the Lord's will is for your life, especially when you've seen it without a reasonable doubt with your own eyes and watched someone suffocate to death from smoking. Wouldn't that be like a strong delusion or kind of a debased mind where you think the same thing's not going to happen to you and you're doing the same things? Wouldn't that be kind of a delusional mind? The Lord says, I send them to delusions they believe. Wouldn't that be like you blinding yourself to the truth? Wouldn't that you saying, well, that's not going to happen to me? I know that they died from it, but I'm not going to. People die from stuff every day. People die from cancer and never smoke. They excuse it. They make excuses for it and say, but isn't that kind of helping the hand that's killing you? Aren't you the one putting the smoke to your mouth? Yeah, there's people that die in this world, but don't kill yourself. Isn't that a form of self-mutilation? What if you destroy your temple that you have to live in and walk this earth in, how are you going to do that? What body will you entertain to carry you through the world if you're destroying it? The wages of sin is death. What are you going to do when you can't breathe or you can't eat or because all these things cause ailments in your body. You're destroying your temple. Cirrhosis of the liver, high blood pressure, ulcers, COPD, bronchitis, popcorn lung. None of it's good for you. That's defilement of your God-given creation. That's like a form of blasphemy. Like you're saying, I don't care, God, that you created me. I'm going to go over here and do this thing. And I know it's going to kill me eventually, but I'm going to do this thing. Isn't that a form of blasphemy? Like you don't care about life? I pray for everybody, especially the children over in Palestine. I do every day, and you have no idea. That is in my Bible. And I mourn over those people that don't have a future or a real life to live because they're suffering bombs, war zones, and they've never known what peace has ever been in their life. I pray and cry and mourn for those people every day. I truly do.